My name is John Corci. I'm an ER physician and intuitive energy healer with a special interest in relationships. All sorts of relationships. Relationships that are financial, personal, romantic, and the most important relationship that we all have, the one with ourselves. Now, I'm giving a brief introduction to sort of set the tone, and then I'm going to have Kufunya do a short guided meditation, and then I'm going to do a short presentation. Then Kufunya is going to follow up on that. Now, Kufunya is my guest, and she is an intuitive crystal, chakra, essential oil healer. And we have Dr. Subi Subrero in the back, who is an emergency room physician also, and a Brahmin from India, and an incredible journey guide, and has been my personal mentor for, well, probably about 5 years. Anyway, the interesting thing about today is we came into a yoga studio. When we came in, we took our shoes off. We left the shoes in the other room because it is to recognize that this is a sacred place. This is a safe place, a sacred room in which we should feel safe. And it's traditional in yoga studios to respect the studio that way. But today, just for a moment, I'd like each and every one of us to try to forget who we are, what title we have, and along with those shoes in the other room, I'd like you to leave your emotional glue that connects you to your past. What I mean by that is all the resentments, anger, distractions that we've had in our life, lack of trust. Leave it in the other room just for a moment and try to feel safe. Feel safe here and try to take a journey. Probably the most important journey we ever take in our life. And it's not a journey to outer space or around the world, but it's a journey inward, to inner space, to try and find that beautiful little child in all of us that is innocent and has our fondest desires in mind. The child that has been abandoned since we were born and first came into this world and became domesticated. We're taught by our loved ones how to fear. How to be afraid of strangers, fear the unknown, don't take anything from strangers, be careful of boys. And it's our government, our uncles, our aunts, our mothers and fathers. Not because they were bad, but because that's what they were taught. But if we live our life from a standpoint of fear, then we have trouble living it from a standpoint of love. So just for a moment, try to concentrate on what is it that we all want the most in life. And I really feel that most people would want to be loved. Not to love, not to share love, but to be loved. And be loved unconditionally. Now, it's a very intimate, vulnerable spot to be in. But there's certain ways that we can do this. But first, let's set the tone. Let's concentrate on that. And by concentrating on that, we begin to meditate on that. Concentration leads to meditation. And keep that thought in mind for just a moment. And now I'm going to have Kufunya lead us in this guided meditation.
How's everybody doing today? I can't hear you. How's everybody doing today? Okay. So we want to connect with one another right now. And I'd like to have the lights dim just a little. The dimmer is right over there. Yeah. So just remember that we are always loved and supported no matter what it looks like. So I want you to take nice, deep breaths, at least 3 of them, so you can just kind of like shake off the dust that you might have picked up along the way. So let's breathe in nice and deep. Let's breathe in the holy breath of our existence. All together now. Take a nice deep breath, breathe in, and let out a nice ah. Breathe in one more time. Nice deep breaths right to the core of the roots of the trees. Breathe in nice and deep. And let a nice big ah. We're going to do it one more time so we can channel in the energies of unconditional love and divine kindness. One more time, nice deep breath. Ah. Doesn't that feel delicious? Because sometimes when we're all wound up in everything, we just say, ah. It's like a breath of surrender, that I will surrender to the universe and not worry about anything. Because worry has no energy. The energy that worry has sucks our energy away from us. And right now, we can't afford to do that. Evan, would you please chime in with me? We are gathered here together in oneness and in love, sending out the sound to the universe and letting the universe know that we are on notice. I want you to watch the parade go by as we listen to the sound. Follow the sound of the universe, the sacred sound. Thank you. We welcome you.
Basically, from fear to love. What is this all about? Well, it's all about a choice. And the choice is the toughest choice we'll ever have to make in life. Harder than any business decision, harder than any romantic decision, harder than any decision we'll ever have to deal with. And the question is, do we want to embrace a life of fear or a life of love? And all we have to do is make the decision. So we don't have to know how we're going to do it. Don't question how we're going to get there or what's next. Just decide, why don't we leave the lights down? They're really nice. All we have to decide is what we want. Leave the rest up to us. Now, and it makes no difference what you decide. And it also doesn't make a difference when you decide. And even if you decide to embrace one life over another life, it's all right to change your mind at any time. And usually, it goes a little like this. You decide to embrace a life of love, and you run out like a little child, all excited and giggling, and then you change your mind, and you run back. And then you run out a little bit again, and then you change your mind, and you run back. And that's okay. That's what it's all about. That's what the process is all about. It's the journey. There is no destination. There is no ultimate goal. It's just a constant evolution. Now, so you made the choice. You'll say, I want to embrace a life of love. Cool. How do I do it? Well, first, you have to realize it's a bunch of little baby steps. They're really simple. But don't underestimate their power. They're so simple, they're easy to mess up. Because you won't believe what you have to deal with. It's just so easy that we take it for granted. The next thing is, we have to decide, where are we? Where is our world? Our world is in our comfort zone. No matter who we are, we have our comfort zone. And that comfort zone was created by us. It's our present reality. And our new reality is what we want to create. And that's the life of love. So here we are in our comfort zone, and we've encircled ourselves, just like the president does with his cabinet, hand-picked people that we have selected for their ability to reinforce what we have decided to believe in for the moment. And they're our peer group. They're a group at the country club, the group at the yoga club, the group in the rock climbing club, whatever it might be. So we think alike, we act alike, we dress alike, and we love having us looking alike. Now, so we feel comfy there. That does not mean we don't have emotional pain, but we've limited it. We know exactly how much there's going to be. We know what we have to deal with, and we say that's acceptable. Life isn't perfect. So we continue going on, and we numb ourselves to the degree that we feel is necessary to sustain that life. The problem with the peer group is, once you decide to change your mind and change your life and embrace a new reality, they're also the ones who will ostracize us, criticize us, judge us, and use all that emotional glue to control us. Subconsciously, they're not mean, they're not bad. It's just what they've been taught to do. So here you are, you decide to embrace this new life, and then you start to get ostracized. Well, you have to, who do you go to ask, well, is this right or is that right? That's a problem, because once again, you're setting up a peer group. You don't need a peer group. You need self-confidence. You need self-esteem. You need courage, emotional courage. How do we get this? Well, first of all, we have to look at ourselves as a whole and become conscious of ourselves. Look in the mirror and say, you know, I'm really beautiful. This I really like about myself. But you know, this other part of me, this jealousy, this resentfulness regarding past relationships, this trouble I have because I have armor across my chest, and even though I meet some beautiful people, I get so close, I get scared and I have to run. That's all fine. So you embrace the beautiful, well-developed part of you, and the not as beautiful human part of you. Not bad. Nothing's bad. It's just that there is no perfection in nature. And we're humans. And we're on Earth School. And Earth School is all about learning how to live on Earth. How does a spirit adapt to Earth? So, once you realize that, and you embrace it, not suppress it. If you suppress it, it keeps coming back and haunting you. If you embrace it and look it in the eye and say, it's okay that I have this issue, and I will slowly deal with it. It slowly starts to melt away and slowly starts to improve. And then you start to venture out more and more. And the peer group isn't so important. And your trust level goes up, your fear level goes down, your love level goes up. But then you start to develop the most important tool that we all have in all of us, and that is intuition. And it's this intuition, this native sense, this sixth sense, which is our peer group, which will guide us in this journey. So we don't have to go to other people and say, did I do the right thing? Do I look well? Am I pretty? I already know the answer. And the intuition gets stronger and stronger and stronger as your love grows and grows and grows. And you accept yourself for all your flaws and all your mistakes, and they don't make a difference, and you're never too old or never too young, and it's all about the energy. And energy is love. And power is love, not force. Force is control. And that's some more emotional baggage that we leave in the past. So now here we are. We recognize this. We accept what we see. We're starting to like it. We feel better about ourselves. We're dealing with our peer group. They're not our enemy. You just let them know, man, I'm a little different than you. Just accept me for me. I accept you for you. And it's amazing how many different peer groups you could connect with, especially in a city like New York, where there's a different peer group every 12 feet, and it makes it fun. So anyway, so here you are. You've sort of dealt with those issues. But you see this impregnable wall that you've built around you that holds you back. And you go, how do I get through this wall? Well, think about this for a second. In the last 50 years, the two most incredible walls ever built were the Berlin Wall and the Iron Curtain, both of which fell easily once common everyday people stood up and said, no, I don't want it anymore. There wasn't nuclear holocaust. Missiles didn't go off. Armies didn't clash. There wasn't even a lot of noise. Common everyday people just tore it down. But just like there was in Eastern Europe, a crisis, there will be in your life. You go out, you lean up against that wall. Not violently, not forcefully, gently. Ever so gently and lovingly. Just lean your shoulder into that wall. And very quickly, you'll notice the wall moving. And it will scare you, and you may run back. It's like, oh, this is too much for me. Then you run out and you try it again, and again, and again. And finally, the wall just dissolves right in front of you. And you go, wow, this is incredible. Endless opportunity, a world of endless opportunity just awaits me. I could be anything I want. I could seek any career. I could establish any amount of financial abundance, spiritual abundance, romantic abundance. Anything you want is there waiting for you. You go, but here's this zip line that goes between two Himalaya mountains with a 5,000-foot drop-off. And it says, one mountain says fear and the other says love. And you go, but which one do I choose? How do I do this? How do I? You just follow your intuition. But you got to understand what intuition is. Intuition is knowing without being able to realize or rationalize or intellectualize. Knowing it's right, feeling it's right. It's not based on time. It's not based on knowledge. It's based on instinct and gut. It's that gut feeling. And it's unemotional. Totally unemotional. It's a hit. I really feel good about this person. I'm going to do it. I feel wonderful about this business venture. I know I'm over leveraged, but I'm going to go for this because I really feel this is right. That man back there knows more about it than anyone in this room. He's from Wall Street. But anyway, and we did a lot of that in the past, didn't we? But anyway, the thing of it is, so you go with your gut. And you have confidence. You don't have to say, well, is this right? Is this wrong? Is this this? Is this that? You just go with it. And everything you'll need will be there when you need it. Synchronicities will come at you left and right. And you'll be able to navigate the unknown. Now, one more thing. It's an introduction to Kofunya's talk. The most important thing to make this all work is the 7 chakras. The V7 engine, 7 cylinders fully firing. No, not perfectly, because no one's perfect. Even the best Ferrari has problems, plenty of them. But most of the time, it's doing pretty well. So the gasoline that powers these 7 chakras, the fuel is called intuition. Now, the lower 3 chakras, 1, 2, and 3, are survival chakras. And she'll explain that. That's all about abundance, materialistic abundance. It's conquering whatever you want in the physical world. Money, fame, prestige, whatever. 5, 6, and 7 are the upper chakras. They're all about relationships and love. They're all about getting to know yourself, getting to share what you have with other people. And you only have one thing to share with anybody, and that's your real, true love. Now, Once you have the upper chakra fired up and the lower chakra fired up, they come together at the fourth chakra, the heart chakra, the chakra of congruency, the chakra of love. This is where you get empowered. So you make your intention. Intention is saying, in the present, this is what I want right now. I want this relationship. I want this business deal, whatever it might be. I want abundance, romantic life. That's your intention, and I am living it. So you have to say, I am doing it now. Not that I wish to, want to, deserve it. It doesn't work that way. You're part of it now. You started it moving already. You're in this room. You're in here for a reason. Something caught you. Something brought you here. So you're active in it. Now, then you empower it with love. And that magnifies conditional love into unconditional love, which is many, many, many folds more powerful. And that sweeps you into the next level. Kafunya is going to talk about chakras and how that works.
Do I have to get up?
Yes.
Actually, I've been teaching about the chakras and the crystals and essential oils and sound for about 3 years. I come from a medical background. I'm a licensed respiratory therapist. And I've been saving lives. And I've also recently took a course in medical intuition, not knowing that I've been doing medical intuition all along. Just showing up at the right time, recommending the right medication, everything is intuition. But I didn't know it at the time because, yes, at times you feel that I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to go. How am I going to go about this whole thing? Now, when I teach, I talk about my personal journey because the best physician, and we're all physicians, is the ones who can heal themselves. And once you can heal yourself, you can go out and heal others. But you can't wing it. Oh yeah, you can wing it for a while. You could wing it for a while. But then afterward, things start to slowly fall apart. And you just say, oh my God, or holy, S-H-I-T. Where am I now? So my whole thing is trusting yourself. Easy to say, right? Are we here? Are we alive? Or am I talking to an empty space? Trusting yourself sounds easy, doesn't it? No. Thank you. It sounds easy, but at times it's not so easy to do. But in my own life, I set out to do things with good intentions. It feels good, it feels right, the people are connecting together, and oh my God, the shit hits the fan. Everything begins to fall apart, and you start looking at yourself saying, where did I go wrong? You start beating up on yourself, and this and that, and la, la, la. I used to do that a lot with myself. I used to beat up on myself a whole lot. And I couldn't understand why, but I do now. I understand now that I have absolutely no responsibility for the outcome of what I am doing. The only responsibility that I have is, where is it coming from? Is it coming from a place of love? Or is it coming from a place of fear. And I know it's coming from a place of love by the way I feel towards what I'm doing. Now, I have personally reconnected with nature. Nature is a very powerful vehicle for people to reconnect into wholeness. We are living in New York City, one of the greatest cities in the world. However, I feel that there are many great cities, but it's all about this whole hustle and bustle. And I got to get this, and I got to get that, and blah, blah, blah. And once you amass all of these things, you're still not happy. So what is it then? You got the cars, you got the women, you got the mansion, you got the big fat bank account, but you're still feeling empty inside. What is going on when you're still feeling that emptiness? Well, what I feel, it is a disconnection from who you are. A disconnection from your higher self. Because we have been taught to stay in those first 3 chakras of survival, intimate relationships, and sometimes giving our own power away, which resides in the 4th chakra, the 3rd chakra, excuse me, the solar plexus. S-O-U-L-A-R, solar plexus. So I began to look at my life very seriously because at one point, I just wanted to jump in the ocean. I said, forget it, I'm out of here, bam. If I can't be happy, I'm out. I am so out of here. And when I began to decide that I was gonna do that, you know how we plan, you know, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go to the ocean. I took the A train to the beach and I said, this is it. My love life is over. You know, I come from the entertainment world and, you know, all my intent. Oh, I was just so ready to leave this earth if I can't be happy. I didn't. So, because I didn't care. So what happened is the wind began to howl and move me. This is a true story, ladies and gentlemen. And it will be in my forthcoming book, by the way. Okay. The wind began to howl and just like pushing me away. But I said, what's going on? I don't want to be here. I'm unhappy. I broke up with my boyfriend decided he wanted to do something else and that did not inform me and the whole thing. And my world turned upside down. I said, I am going back into my profession as a respiratory therapist. I am going to go into this remote village in New Mexico, okay? I'm going to work at a 5-bed hospital, and I am just going to disappear, and nobody's going to know where I am. So after that, I planned it all out since I wasn't allowed to jump in the ocean, okay? So I just said, okay, I'm getting out of here. I'm done with New York City, okay? And I'm going back into my profession as a respiratory care. It's safe and, you know, I can do what I need to do. The only person I have to report to is my medical director, and nice and safe in that comfort zone that you talk about. But the gods and the goddesses and the universe had a different idea for me. It's like they summoned me to be in this vortex on 5th Avenue called East-West Living. I was summoned there. I'm telling you, because if it was up to me, I want to continual travel because I travel halfway around the world with artists, and I wanted to do that. I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to be at East West whatever, right? And in my travels, people started giving me crystals. And I used to say, well, what is this? what is this? You know, and little by little, you know, I just started feeling certain energies and frequencies from them. And I'm fast forwarding, there's a lot in between. And slowly and little by little, like those baby steps, something began to trigger inside my mind and in my spirit. I considered myself fairly spiritual. However, there was a need to go in deep. Like they talk about down the rabbit hole, like Alice in Wonderland. You need to go deep. And it can be fun and exciting. It was fun and exciting for me at times. And at times it was downright, damn, do I really want to be here? But slowly but surely, my intuition started to build. And I started to rebuild this power center here, the third chakra, the solar plexus. And how I did that was by working with various crystals. Let me tell you something. You might look at me as a nut. I don't give a hoot, honestly. Because I know, like the trees, like the ocean, like the rivers, like the plants, like the animals, they are here for a purpose. And, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know, the core of the earth is hematite and quartz crystals, all right? And in your watches, in your Rolodexes and everything else, it's also run by quartz crystals. And what else? A couple of other things that is, our computers that we use every day is run by quartz crystals. Quartz crystals makes up 34% of the Earth's weight. That's a good enough reason, right? And the rose quartz crystals have the same electromagnetic field that surrounds it, same electromagnetic field that is around our heart center. The same electromagnetic field that surrounds the earth. How many people knew that? Don't raise your hand at once. How many people know that? It's okay. Because I didn't know it either. This is an inner journey, a calling into wholeness. And we think by having material things does it for us. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's okay to have material things. That's why they're put here. The fact is that we should have everything in balance and in wholeness. And when we reconnect to our higher self, we will get all the guidance that we need. I can tell you, I am a living example of that unconditional love. It is so real that when you live from your heart center, you are powerful. You are so powerful beyond words. And you move like the power of the ocean, unafraid. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, fear only means false evidence appearing real. You got it? Fear, false evidence appearing real. That's what fear is. So how are we going to deal with it? Are we going to deal out of love, where it is the most powerful place, where I can stand here unmasked and unafraid? Or are we going to live in fear and think about, oh, what Susie is saying about me and what John is saying about me? And also, newsflash, unless you love yourself, you cannot love anybody else anyway.
because it's going to fall apart eventually. And how do we get there? How do we get there? How did I get there? I'll tell you. I listened to a lot of spiritual teachers. I needed to know because I didn't want to suffer anymore. I am done with that. Okay? So done. So the chakras hungry. Are also aligned with our 12-strand DNA. Oh, Kafunya, what are you talking about? 12-strand DNA? I was told we only had 2. But believe it or not, we have more than 2. And, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to try to understand and talk to your mind and say, hey, I know Einstein used like maybe 15% of his mind. And I know, and he was called a genius. And I know we use between 5 and 7% of our mind. When you begin to work with the elements and with nature and sound and essential oils, you can begin to ask the question to yourself. To yourself. What is my 80%? What's the rest of my brain doing? What is it doing? What is the rest? We have a brain that's 100%, right? What is the other 85% or 95% of my brain doing? By asking those questions and by working with the elements, with crystals, which carries a frequency, essential oils, which also carry a frequency, the sound that you heard from the didgeridoo also carries a frequency. You begin, when you ask, we don't do enough of asking. We don't ask when we, listen, let me tell you, if I'm in trouble, I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna say, yo, I need help with this. And so what if they call you a, it's okay. But at least you're living your authentic self. It's hard. There's no safety net. The only safety net is in this heart center. But it's okay. You don't have to worry about a safety net if you're living through your heart center. So what if I make a mistake? So what? I can start again. The only judge, the best judge that we have is our own self. Don't be hard on yourself. Embrace yourself. Look in the mirror, peek in the mirror and say, I love you, Kafunya. I love you, Susie. I love you, Evan. Just look in the mirror. Louise Hay taught about the mirror technique, to begin to love yourself right where you are. Put the boat in right where you are. You're either going to live in the flow or you're going to live in resistance. Which is it? It's your choice. It's absolutely your choice. I have fun working with crystals. I work with people with their chakras. I align them. I heal them through divine. I open myself as a channel to receive the information. Some of you in here today have had the opportunity of my healing gifts. And I am so thankful. I do not let Mrs. Ego get in the way, because ego plays no part right here. The time is now, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen the results of disconnection. The disconnection between me and you. The disconnection and disregard for the rainforests. The disregard for the oceans and the rivers. But some of us right now is taking the bold stand and saying, enough. I don't have to worry about being in lack. There's no such thing as lack. You turn on the TV and they say, blah, 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 blah. And every day I see buildings going up. I see the beautiful flowers. I see the forest. What the hell are they talking about? Lack? Who put that sound out there? Who put that sound there's lack? mere mankind, a mere mortal, saying is lack. And he can't even produce a tree. He can't even produce a planet. And he's saying we have lack. Lack is a state of mind, brothers and sisters, and it does take time to move from that. But you can take baby steps, and it can happen for you. Invite yourself to move from that place of fear into love. It's a very holy, divine place, and it will sharpen your intuition. I mean, crystals will raise your frequency. Essential oils will raise your frequency. Listening to music will raise your frequency. Doing what you love instead of what Susie wants will raise your frequency. Being in love with you, taking yourself out on a date, getting that pedicure, going roller skating, you know, buying a new dress, buying a new pair of shoes, saying hello or doing something for someone else, being of service. That's the highest and greatest thing that we can do in the world. But the first thing we must remember is to love ourselves. Is it a selfish act? You're damn right, it is. I'm gonna love me first. Because if I can't love me, how can I love you? Because I don't even know what it looks like. If I can't even nurture myself, how can I nurture you? Women especially are taught to nurture, 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 nurture. Who's gonna nurture them? Who's gonna do that? We have to do it. And if by chance we get that beautiful, loving mate that we love and care for, I call that extra icing on the cake. Because remember, you have your own love, and you have your own joy, and you have your own happiness. Everything else is icing on the cake. Move from fear to love. Come into wholeness with who you are. And if you need any crystals for that, because I can tell you it helped me a lot. This is not no hairy, airy, peary stuff. This actually works. Move from fear to love and come into wholeness, and I can show you how. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, she is. Okay, that was wonderful. And now I'd like to introduce Subi, and our Brahmin physician, journey guide, and mentor.
See if I do this right.
Thank you, John. Just before I start my talk, I just have to say a few words about my colleague, my previous boss, and my friend, Dr. Karachi. I went to see him in Kane, Pennsylvania, where he was chief of emergency room. If you saw him then and see him now, you know he had been through the journey. There are few people who can walk the talk. He was 300-pound, fat, bespectacled guy looking through, sitting, this is very real. His son is here. You can ask him, you can ask for his past photograph. The first day he came to me, he said, oh, your son is going to New York? Let me call my son. I will make his life easy, or the interview. I said, my God, I've only met him 20 minutes. Here is a person who wants to help me. That's how the beginning of my friendship with Dr. Karachi, John, was. John, in front of my eyes, changed overnight. He calls me mentor. He gave me all his discs. But the fact was, the rain may come everywhere, on the stone, on the concrete, but you need a fertile soil where it can grow. And I'm very proud. I might be very little influential in what he did. Let me tell you what happened. It's very important for you to know, because you are seeking love. You have come all the way, give your valuable time to listen to someone like me talking to you about, and this is very important, how he did that, his journey. Every day he would come, and I talked to him about 4 agreements. I have read it, I have bought that book and given presents to everybody, he said. I said, how about, do you read Eckhart Tolle now? He suddenly looked at me. The next day, he came back with the book from Barnes & Noble. I have read Eckhart Tolle. Then I said, have you read Celestine Prophecy? Celestine Prophecy? He said, okay. The next day, he came up with Celestine Prophecy. And I said, you know, John, I would like to go to Machu Picchu. He said, you cover me next week, I will go to Machu Picchu. This is true. He has left me cover and went to Machu Picchu. And I said, you know, I have a childhood dream of going to Himalayas. Oh, no problem. He said, next day I come here, you know, I have booked a trek to Nepal. I'm going, you cover for me. He went to Nepal, he went to Thailand. Before he met me, he never did any of this. He completely changed. He lost his tremendous weight. He became physically fit to do rock climbing at his age, bungee jump, and here he is, formed this buddhababy.com and continued to work with it. So when he came and asked, would you come and talk? I said, in all humility, John, I don't have to teach you anything. You know it all. Why don't you do that? But he anyway dragged me here. Thank you very much, John, for the opportunity that I have gotten. Now, let me start the talk that I came to give. At the very beginning, I have to say, Namaste. Namaste. Namaste comes from 2 words, Sanskrit words. Namaha means I'm showing respect to all of you. Te means you. So Namaste is a Sanskrit word, and it appears from fear to love, has been stolen from old Upanishads. John, sorry, I will tell you the original Sanskrit version. In Sanskrit, there are 3 words everybody reads, Hindus. The first one say, Asato ma sadgamaya. That means from wrong to the right. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. From darkness to the light. Mrutyuto amrutangamaya. That means from death to immortality. Passenger or walker, just let me lead you there. That's what the Upanishad says about the 3 words, which is not far from what the title of today says, being, that is from fear to love. It's a journey. One man, one God, one religion, one life, this journey. One passion, that is happiness. One purpose that we all seek is love. That's where we are going. You have to answer 3 questions, just 3 questions. Who are you? Where are you going? What are you seeking? The first question, who are you? Don't tell me your name, I'm so and so. Don't tell me what you do. I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, I'm a financier, I'm an asset manager. No, don't tell me. Who you are, you will come to know. When you are really in trouble, you stand in front of a mirror, the regular mirror, not a convex, not concave mirror, which gives you a different perception. It happens to most of us. This happens when you are really in trouble. You walk out in your solitude, in the silence, you look at the mirror and say, they did not understand me. You shake your head. That's where you really are. You think the world does not understand me. It's not me. You're looking at your image, and the inner voice, the inner conscious is telling you, that's not you, that they won't understand me. This is not what I really am. Ask those questions. It will reveal you who you really are. If you want to find out, I will give you 3 techniques. The first technique, as I told you about the mirror, when you are really in trouble, when you ask that question, it will come to you. If not, when you are not in trouble, go to your brook early morning as the sun rises with its golden rays on the East River or anywhere where you are turning towards the east. Watch. That's why yoga, the first lesson, is Suryasana, that's bowing to the god sun. When you go there, when a lily brook, one small brook is the bubbling noise of the water, sit down there. The silence is there, the solitude is there, you can contemplate. You are not any different from that inanimate object. People think only us can feel. But let me tell you about science. Atom. Let's take electron. Does it have organ? No. It is the smallest particle, right? Even if you know quarks, I don't know how deep you go into the physics, even if you know quarks, gluons, hadrons, leptons, whichever the one you want to deal with, they are the fundamental particles. Quarks are almost have charm quarks. Depending upon the spin, they are further classified.